Radhe Radhe, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Welcome to Shri Radha Vinu Bihari Mandir, Gopinath Bhavan, Shri Vrindavan Dham.
Jai Ho.
Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupan Guru Varga ki jai. Pratit Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Sachinandana Gaur Hari ki jai. Radha Vinu Bihari Chu ki jai, Radha Ramarju ki jai. Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Dandavat Pranam Nard Muni and Mamata Didi.
Dandavat Pranam.
And Lalita Saki Didi, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
And Jiva Bhavana Prabhu, even though you're not there yet, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
So we will begin with Mangalacharna as usual, page 1 in the small songbook. Radhe Radhe Raghava Prabhu
Raghav Ji.
Champak Didi Radhe Radhe.
So page 1 of this book, Shri Gauri Giti Gucha, Vandeham Shri Guru, Shri Yutta Padakamalam,
Shri Guru Vaisnavamshta.
And make sure you all stay for the end because Sudevi has done fresh Shringar on Thakurji today. Just a Shringar Darshan. Okay, begin. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaisnavamshta Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sarvetam Samadhutam Parjana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Savagana Lalitam Shri Vishakhanvitamshya Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Namine Shri Krishna Lila Katane Sudaksham Audaya Madhurya Gunashcha Yuktam Varam Varinyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Pam Shirashan Namami Tridandinam Bhakta Shiromarincha Shri Krishna Pada Jataika Vritti Chaitanya Lila Amrita Sarasar Narayanam Pam Satatam Prapadye Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namahum Vishnupadaya Gaura Presthaya Bhutale Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyam Keshavaliti Namine Ativatya Charitraya Shashritanam Chapaline Jiva Dukhe Sadartaya Shri Nama Premadayine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namine Shri Varshabhani Devi Daitaya Kripabhaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnano Daine Prabhave Namaha Madhuryo Jvala Premadhya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Nirakarine Rupanugam Vinudhapo Siddhanta Dhvantaharine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambhara Sambudhe Padam Bhujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanugavarayate Gaura Virbhava Bhumestam Nirdeshta Sajanapriya Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jaganathayate Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Premamridayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanto Radha Kanto Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Jayatam Surato Pango Mama Mangam Matergati Matsarvaswapadam Mojo Radha Madanamohana Nityak Vrindaranya Kalpadrumada Srimad Ranagara Sinhasanastho Shri Shri Radha Shri Govinda Devo Preshthali Sevyamanussmarami Shri Mandra Sarasaramhi Manshimatra Tatastitaha Darshan Venusmaray Gopi Gopinatha Shri Estunaha Vrindaye Tulasi Devyai Priyaye Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavatyai Namo Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadharu Shivasani Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Cheto Darpanamarjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadhu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Shwadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Hare Nam Hare Nam Hare Nam Eva Kevalam Kalo Nastyeva 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 Ratiram Yata Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Jai Jai Shri Guru. What page is it?
29, page 29. Jaya Jaya Shri Guru.
I'd be hitting that side over there. Says it's going that way. Well, to make it less. Jaya Jaya Shri Guru Prema Kalpa Jaya Jaya Shri Guru Prema Thakur Vaishnava Gana. Page 43. And if you don't have the songbook, then Jiva Pavan Prabhu, are you there yet?
He's there.
Dandava Pranam. Very kindly and mercifully, he posts the bhajans along with translations and sometimes beautiful commentaries in the comment section of the thread of this post. So just scroll to Jiva Pavan Prabhu's most recent post and you will find the bhajan there so you can follow along with us. Thank you.
Raja
I know. Nadiya Godrume Nityam Mahajana.
Starts with Nadiya Godrume, page 163. Nadiya Godrume, Godrume, page 163.
Actually, you're supposed to play the mridanga. Did you say please turn this off?
No.
Oh. I can play the mridanga, but then we don't have a foundation. If we have a tanpura going, it's difficult to follow. So it creates a little bit of a conflict. Of course, mridanga is a much more traditional instrument than a harmonium.
You can do it.
Do you have a bhajan requested?
No.
You asking me to play mridanga for that bhajan? Or any bhajan?
Didn't I say he just asked for some?
No, but maybe he was asking for that particular bhajan.
He was asking that at least even the very last kirtan, something, some mridanga.
Probably not on the last one.
Yadi Gauranga Nahito.
Okay, Jadi Gauranga Nahito. What page is that?
I don't know, it's also from Ramananda Prabhu. He's the director this evening.
Okay, Mr. Director.
Jadi Gauranga Nahito.
There it is, page 68. Jadi Gauranga Nahito. যদি গৌরাঙ্গ নহিত তবে কি হইত কেমনে ধরিত দে যদি গৌরাঙ্গ তবে কি হইত কেমনে ধরিত দে রাধার মহিমা প্রেম রস সীমা রাধার মহিমা
Prema Rasa Siva.
জগতে জানত কে
Jagate Janatoke.
জগতে জানত কে ও মধুর বৃন্দা বিপিন মাধুরী প্রবেশ চাতুরী সারো বৃন্দা বিপিন মাধুরী বরজ যুবতী ভাবের ভকতি শক্তি হইত গুণ গুণ গৌরাঙ্গের গুণ সরল হইয়া গুণ গুণ গৌরাঙ্গের গুণ এই ভব সাগরে এমন দয়া রে ভব সাগরে না দেখি যে কজন গৌরাঙ্গ বলিয়া নাগেনু বলিয়া কেমনে ধরিনু রে কেমনে ধরিনু রে ও নর হরি হিয়া আশার দিয়া নর হরি হিয়া কেমনে গরিয়াছে কেমনে গরিয়াছে Shri Sachinandana Gaura Hari Ki
Jai. Ramananda says, sorry, I understand now. Harmonium needed for the bass. Is it that bad?
Anadi Karma Pale Puri Bhavan Navajale, page 189. Anadi Karma Pale. If you've ever heard the recordings of Srila Prabhupada singing this bhajan, especially when he comes to that third verse in the second part, Eheno Samaya Bandhu Tumi Krishna Kripa Sindhu, you can hear his voice choking up, and it sounds as if he is weeping. He's crying while he's chanting this bhajan. It's very powerful, very intense mood. Anadi Karma Phale Puri Bhavar Navajale. And it's what?
Jivabhavana Prabhu is replying, Mardanga, heart of the Kirtan.
Well, the other heart of the Kirtan apparently left. So, we will just maintain this. Is it okay for you? Okay. Anadi Karma Phale. Anadi Karma Phale Puri Bhavar Navajale. Anadi Karma Phale
Puri Bhavar Navajale.
Puri Bari शेषे भेले सिंधु जाले हरिनाम तुव अनेक स्वरूपा Page number 180. Hari Namo Tua Aneka Swarupa Hari Namo Tua Aneka Swarupa Hari Namo Tua Aneka Swarupa Hari Namo Radha Krishna Pranamor Jugala Kishore. Page 1, 2, 3. Jugala Kishora Devane Marane Gati Arunahi Mora Radha Krishna Nandana Gaur Hari ki jai, Radha Vinu Bihari ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaur Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Shri Gaur Premanande. Yeah, and Tampura. Very good. Who's outside? Hare Krishna कौन है? कौन? We're doing our program right now. Excuse me.
Radhe Radhe, Hare Krishna.
1 second.
We're doing our evening program now. Sorry. You need something? Okay, excuse me, we're just... Hare Krishna.
Sorry, Dandava Pranam.
Dandava Pranam.
We have visitors.
We're not supposed to have visitors.
I know it was dark, they might not have been able to see the note on the door. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Nityanamine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandava Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Astottara Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. In the same thousands of Dandava Pranam, into the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Astottara Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and to all of our Rupananda Gauriya Guru Varga. And also I offer my Dandava Pranam to all Vaishnavas, past, present, and future, including all of you who are present with us today. My Dandava Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Radhe Radhe.
So before continuing, going beyond Vaikuntha, I did something wrong here, 1 second. Before continuing going beyond Vaikuntha, I wanted to speak a little bit more about Srila Govinda Goswami Maharaj. And so today I also offer my Dandava Pranam. He's included within our Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga. So I offer my Dandava Pranam in the dust of his lotus feet. There's a speciality about Srila Govinda Maharaj that we don't always find in, or we don't often find in most others. And that is, he was living his talk. What he spoke, he did. That makes him Acharya, one who teaches by their own example. So whatever he was speaking, he himself was following. These days we don't find that to be true of everyone. Some may be doing that, but most, it's easy to speak. It's easy to say things. It's easy to quote and to impress, but to actually follow. For the heart to be one with your words, this is a very rare thing. But Srila Gurudev Maharaj embodied this, exemplified it, and never failed and never faltered. Today I reposted a quote which I had posted previously, and I know I've been speaking about it quite often. I've actually shared it in many ways, but it's so nice to see when it is presented by the Acharya. Because actually, what power do we have to speak anything? Really what we should be doing is simply repeating the words, the conceptions. Maybe we don't have to repeat it word for word, because that would make it quite monotonous. But to quote or to paraphrase without losing the essence of what they are teaching. This is essential. So, when I read this quote today, I was quite, impressed again. Every single time I read from Srila Gurudev Maharaj, I'm impressed again. So he said, if you have really developed Krishna Prem, and you are always absorbed in seeing the all-beautiful form of Krishna, this is the meaning of attaining Krishna Prem, then how can you be attracted toward the ugly witch, Maya? It doesn't make sense. If you are truly attracted to Krishna, meaning by Prem, having attained that stage of Prem, how will you be attracted to the ugly witch, Maya? Or if you've been given a beautiful plate of Mahaprasad, how will you be attracted to eating vomit or stool? It just doesn't make sense. If someone is attracted, that means he is not completely free from the clutches of Maya. It's just obvious. If someone is attracted by things of this material world, they are not completely free, which means they have not yet captured Krishna within the core of their heart. He has not gotten Krishna. So how can he give you Krishna? Srila Gurudev Maharaj. And here's the picture of him. I don't know if you can, oops, it's plugged in here. There. So he's absorbed in doing kirtan there, completely absorbed, as Sudevi was saying yesterday. How he would be so absorbed, he would be literally bouncing off of his vyasasana and completely absorbed in that kirtan. This is Krishnamaya, complete deep absorption. And so Srila Gurudev Maharaj accepted the role of spiritual master or guru. Why? It wasn't just on the order of his guru. He would not make a statement like this unless he could fulfill the purport of that. He accepted that role not just because it is a role, because he had the capability of delivering someone unto Krishna, or delivering Krishna unto someone. Krishna prapti hoy jaha hoite. Almost every day I paraphrase or quote Srila Gurudev Maharaj when I say, Guru makes Krishna appear in your heart. Who can make Krishna appear in someone's heart? That person to whom we can say, Krishna se tomar. Krishna is yours. Krishna dite paro. You can give Krishna. Tomara shakti ache. This is certainly within your power. Why? How? Because they have already bound up Krishna within the core of their hearts by their love and affection, by their praying. That is who can give Krishna. Why do I have so much confidence to speak this idea of Guru Tattva? Because when Srila Gurudev, Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, was making some, what I felt were concessions at one point in time, I went to him very concerned and confused. And I asked him, what do you want me to preach now? How am I supposed to preach? I've been preaching Guru Tattva as you've been preaching it all of these years. And he said, as I preach Guru Tattva, you should preach it. So sometimes devotees would say, ooh, that sounds a little strong. It sounds a little heavy. It sounds a little bit too much. Maybe you should adjust it, soften it, temper it a little bit to make more allowance for those disciples who may have accepted gurus who are not on the highest level. And I was like, well, Gurudev gave me the instruction to preach Guru Tattva as he preached it. So if someone starts losing faith in their Guru because I'm preaching Guru Tattva from Shastra, this is not my duty to drop Guru Tattva to the lowest common denominator to accommodate. It's the function of the Guru and the relationship with the disciple that disciple should develop that faith in their Gurudev. Otherwise, Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj, he stated, if one is not strong enough, then they should not carry more than they can handle. What does that mean? If you're climbing up a ladder and you can only carry behind you maximum 50 kilos, don't hang 500 kilos on yourself or pounds. What will be the result? If you do not have the strength to pull up more than 50 kilos or 100 pounds, why are you going to hang 1,000 pounds on yourself? It will also pull you. So those who are not qualified gurus, those who are not really in the position to actually be able to rescue another, should be very, very careful about accepting too many disciples. In Hari Bhakti Vilas, in Shastra, it is stated that the sins of those disciples will drag that guru, or that person who is taking the role of guru, who is not firmly bound to the lotus feet of Krishna, will drag them to hell head first. Because those ones will fall and they will pull him with them. So all of our Guru Varga have advised, one should not take too many disciples, especially if they don't have that capacity. So Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj is saying, why carry more weight than you can actually handle? It will be your destruction. So as he is speaking these things, he is also able to follow. He has seen how his own Guru Maharaj, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, by one particle of dust from his lotus feet, millions of people can be delivered. Why? Because there is not one particle of any attraction to or distraction from Maya. So he's able to deliver the entire universe because he is saturated in Krishna Prema. So there's no possibility of Maya distracting him. As Srila Prabhupada writes, for whom the material world holds no charm whatsoever. And Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj in that quote was saying, if someone has even one little bit of attraction to Maya, then you will know that they do not have prema. If they do not have prema, they have not captured Krishna. Then how can they give you Krishna? So then we can say, all right, we might not be able to give Krishna, but we can help to push someone toward another who can give Krishna. That is our capacity. So we should not try to carry more than our own capacity. I remember back in the day, after Srila Gurudev gave allowance for some of his disciples to start initiating, some of them, at least one, was running around and telling everyone, I have to initiate as many as possible before this one and that one get to them. We're like, this is not a game. It is not child's play. This is someone's soul being invested. It's not just one body. It's birth after birth. It's not a game. It is a matter of life and death. Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj explains. It is a matter of life and death, but some take it as worthless, as simple child's play. This is the most serious thing. So Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj had to expend a lot of energy preaching the true conceptions of Guru Tattva. And I think a book came out with that exact title. And because he was preaching that conception of Guru Tattva, and others were representing that conception of Guru Tattva, what is told in Shastra, so many saw him as their enemy. Because he's preaching the pure conception, others began to maybe doubt or lack faith in maybe that personality they may have been submitting to. Wait a second. The one who's my guru is giving up his sannyas and getting married again. Well, that doesn't seem like it's in line with what Srila Gurudev Maharaj was telling. Well, this one he's fallen down 3 or 4 times. Maybe now he's in good standing, but we don't know if he'll be in good standing tomorrow. So Srila Gurudev Maharaj was preaching uncompromised, and he was following uncompromised. And this is really the speciality of a transcendental personality. Today I read from Srila Gurudev Maharaj. He was saying that a disciple should have this mood toward his guru, that every activity I do, every behavior that I perform, everything that I do is a reflection on my guru. So I should behave and I should act and I should do in such a way that no ill mood would come toward my guru. No discredit will come toward my Gurudev. I should be in such a way. And because he's speaking it like that and telling others to do that, then he himself also was doing that. So he would not compromise. He would not allow himself, especially the Tattva Siddhanta. He said we can tolerate almost anything, but we cannot tolerate changes in Siddhanta. The Tattva Siddhanta, the essential foundational truths that hold up all of our Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy. If that is destroyed, if that is twisted, if that is subject to change whimsically, then we have no foundation to stand on. So he said we can tolerate anything, but not that. So many persons may have so many anarthas, may have so many difficulties. Yes, we can tolerate that, but do not change, adjust, manipulate, or twist the pure teachings of our Gurudev, our Guru Varga, and our Shastras. Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, we do not change, twist, manipulate. Srila Gurudev Maharaj was so strong about all of these points, even before, earlier on, after receiving sannyas. Traditionally, they used to issue a death certificate for those who received sannyas, because they are no longer of this world. Their function, their relationships were only with Guru and Krishna, for serving the Absolute. So they had no attachments to anything of this world. To prove that, they would issue a death certificate. That's how our Srila Gurudev was able to rescue ISKCON from being taken by the children, the birth children of Srila Prabhupada. He established all of these points based on Shastra, and he himself was there as the witness, as the person doing the yajna, showing him how to wear the sannyas vesh, making his danda and everything, and our Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj was giving our Srila Prabhupada the sannyas mantra, Gopi Bhav mantra. So by this, Gurudev was able in court to prove that because he has received sannyas with the proper mood, he is no longer of the material world, therefore his Purva Ashram's family has no claim whatsoever to his current, earnings. They wanted to take the money from the publications and distributions of Prabhupada's books and the temples and everything else for their own enjoyment. Gurudev went to court day after day after day, even in poor health at that time, and very soundly defended Srila Prabhupada and his society. So Srila Gurudev Maharaj was the embodiment of also following properly, so that no ill mood would come or discredit would come to his Gurudev, to this ashram, sannyas, or anything. So previously, Srila Gurudev Maharaj was working in school as a teacher. And he himself was saying that I was teaching mathematics, English, and geography. And at that time, back in the day, he was making decent money. I think he was making something like 1,000 rupees a month. But rupees were very different. Even when I was little, when I came to Vrindavan Gurukul, it was 7 rupees to the dollar. And on the black market, you could get 10 rupees. But it was 7 rupees to the dollar in 1986. No, 84. 7 to the dollar. Now it is 75. Back in the day, at the time of King George, 1 rupee was made of pure silver. Before that, India was so wealthy that for generations and generations, the Muslim invaders and the English invaders plundered the wealth of India. Plundered it. And still, somehow they're able to survive. So Srila Gauravanda Maharaj, back in the day, was making decent money. He had 7 children and his wife. He had a house. He had property. He had a job and everything. And he gave it all up for the higher purpose. He realized, what am I doing with my life and my time? I don't want to teach about these things. How is that going to help anyone at the time of death? How is it going to help me at the time of death? Let me speak about the absolute truth. Because that was really where his obsession was. So he did his worldly duty. Because his mother and his family requested, you get married. So he got married. He had a family. He had children. He worked. He maintained them. Until they were old enough. And then he gave up everything. To search for Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Now that we have this rare human form, we should inquire about the absolute truth. Why waste time doing the same thing we've done in every other species of life? Again and again, chewing that thing which we've already chewed. So years later, as a sannyasi, government agents came to him and they said to him simply, if you will just sign this paper, your pension from when you were a teacher will go to your family, your wife and children. And he said, I cannot sign that. They said, but all you need is a little signature. And he said, I cannot sign that and I will not sign that. Why? Because he was dead to that world. He was alive to Krishna. We've heard this term, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj says, die to live. What does that mean? Die to live. It means that all of my mundane ideas, all of my material attachments, all of those things that are binding me to this material world, by heart, by mind, by my senses, that has to die. Means my mind, intelligence, and false ego, which are made of material, subtle energy, matter. All of that has to die so that my soul, my Atma, can live. Through the process of Bhakti Yoga, that is possible. Through the process of Bhakti Yoga, the material mind, and I'm using the word material, it is subtle energy, but it is still material. It is not spiritual. The material mind, the material intelligence, and the material false ego, man, buddhi, ahankar, they have to starve and die so that one can live. So by the process of Bhakti Yoga, just as when you put food into your stomach, it is digested. In the same way, by the process of Bhakti Yoga, all of your subtle, material, entangling energies will also be digested and you will awaken to Krishna Bhakti. So Srila Gauravanda Maharaj did not take it lightly. He took it very, very strongly. And they asked him to sign it. He said, I cannot sign it. I will not sign that. That is cut for me. If I sign it, it means that I am still affiliating, that I am with them. That I'm still maintaining attachment internally. How was Mahaprabhu toward Chota Haridas? When he just glanced. He was either as a sannyasi or as a brahmachari, but Mahaprabhu would not even look at him again. Oh, now that you've accepted the renounced order, you're looking back toward the material energy for enjoyment? This is called bantasi. one who has already given it up, vomited it out, now they're going to eat that again. What one has already given out, they're going to eat that again. Mahaprabhu did not want to see him. How powerful and strong was Mahaprabhu on this point? We are followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What Mahaprabhu gave through our Goswamis and our Guru Varga, we follow. So Srila Govinda Maharaj, he was an exemplary follower, teaching by his own example. And what did he show? Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kohe Sudrida Nishchay Krishna Bhakti Koile Sarvakarma Krita Hoy. That, what is even the basic foundation for bhakti? Shraddha, transcendental or paramartic faith. The firm conviction that by engaging in the process of bhakti, automatically all of my material obligations will be managed, taken care of. I don't have anything to worry about. Or Srila Govinda Maharaj would say, nothing to do, Baba, nothing to do. Nothing to do means nothing to worry about with the material thing. Completely focused on bhakti, completely focused on serving Guru, Gauranga, Radha and Krishna with complete dedication. So Srila Govinda Maharaj, he didn't worry about that thing. These days we see that some who take to the role of sannyas and this and that, they still maintain very close relationships with all of their family members and proudly present, this is mine, this is mine, this is mine. But this is not proper behavior for sannyasi, according to Shastra. And Srila Govinda Maharaj was showing by his own example why. So that people could follow that example. That it is possible. This is what it means. Mahajano yena katha sapanta. Follow the path set out by the Mahajans. Otherwise, behaving whimsically in society, not following the rules of Shastra and the rules of Dharma, it only creates so much disturbance in society. Then no one knows where to go, what to do. These days, if someone is doing all nonsense in the name of bhakti, even in positions of sannyas and guru, and you can see according to Shastra, this is not right. How can I support that? Well, then everyone will look at you and go, you're an aparadhi. But that's not the teachings of Mahaprabhu. So am I going to support Mahaprabhu and the pure devotees, or am I going to support all of the nonsense that is being promoted in the name of bhakti? This is something that we need to really search deeply within ourselves for. So Srila Govinda Maharaj, he showed, I will not sign that thing. I have nothing to do with that. This is a pension. You don't have to think about it again. Just sign it. No. But what happened? This proves that Krishna will take care of everything for that person who is exclusively surrendered unto him. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana parayupasate Tesham nitya bhiyuktaram yogakshemam vahamyaham. For one who surrenders one pointed unto me, I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have.
I don't want to interrupt your point because I want you to get to that bit, but you should also read some of the things that Raghava Prabhu is telling, especially the instruction he gave her. I think it's pretty amazing, and she did it. So anyway, so just
okay. He had instructed his former wife to take Diksha from Pujapad Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj. And she did. He had clapped his hands 3 times just like Srivas Pandit. That Krishna must provide.
Do you remember your point?
Yes.
Okay.
So Srivas Pandit would do that also. He would clap his hands 3 times. And Mahaprabhu asked him, why are you doing that? He said, because sometimes he was being encouraged, you should work to maintain, you should do this and that and everything else. And he's like, why? I'm taking shelter of the process of bhakti, really seriously, not pretending. And he said, according to Shastra, Krishna will maintain. anyone who's surrendered to him. So I'm clapping 3 times. If on day 1, no food comes, no maintenance comes, then on day 2, no food or maintenance comes, 3 means on the 3rd day, if nothing comes, then I myself with all of my family members, we will go and finish ourselves in the Ganga. Means drown ourselves in the Ganga. This conviction he had in Krishna. This conviction he had in the path of bhakti. That Krishna bhakti koile, sarva karma krito hai, everything is maintained. So Srila Govinda Maharaj would also represent that himself. And he showed he had nothing physically when he was living in that jungle. It wasn't a forest, it was a wild jungle with tigers and elephants and snakes and scorpions and dacoits and nothing. And he was residing there. And from his own hand-built little thatched grass hut made with mud and grass, from that, and with no help from any outsiders, only with his faith in the lotus feet of his Gurudev and his dedication to follow and serve the order of Srila Prabhupada. From that, everything manifested. So he proved it in his own life. He proved it in his own life. Is it proper to mention that someone is such and such, the son of such and such Maharaj? Technically not. It's even not proper to mention like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada in terms of that relationship with Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur. Although we talk about from his birth and everything, but the real relationship between them was that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada saw Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur as his Gurudev. In fact, he was his Guru. He gave him Harinam and Kurma Mantra. So Srila Gurudev said that one should glorify their Guru or any Vaisnava in terms of their dedication and their service to their Gurudev. It's technically not proper to say my son, my grandchildren, or anything like that. Or from the other side, my father. Our Srila Gurudev's brothers and sisters used to come on parikrama. And also once his daughter came. And Gurudev wouldn't look at her. He was talking to all of his disciples and everyone else, but he wouldn't look at her. And someone asked Gurudev, why are you not even acknowledging her? He said, because she's looking at me like worldly father. But everyone else was there for bhakti. Even his sisters and brothers, they all saw that he's no ordinary personality. This is a pure devotee, and they were coming in a very different mood. They were coming in a mood of humility as receivers of mercy. Recipients of mercy. They weren't coming thinking I'm the brother and sister and like that. They understood that he was not, even though they grew up with him and had that relationship at that time, they understood he was something completely different. And so instead of embracing him as they would offer their pranam to him. They would glorify him as one does to their Gurudev. So they respected him as their Guru, Shiksha Guru. It's quite interesting. So, what happened with Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaja's family? One person was very, very impressed with this Hari Katha, and he had heard this Katha. And he also, what Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj was telling about his sannyas. And this person was also, was it a disciple of Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj?
I don't remember. I remember Vichitra and them telling it. Maybe she's watching and she...
Anyhow, the essence of this is that he ended up marrying one of the daughters from the Purva ashram.
He thought, if he has any daughters, I want to marry.
And this person was the son of a very wealthy steel baron family, like millions and millions and millions. And this person married that daughter, and then the whole family was completely taken care of in a very luxurious way. Much, much more than even what Srila Gurudeva Maharaj was doing in that previous ashram. Everything was simple at that time. But Krishna is showing, I carry what they lack and preserve what they have. But what did Krishna do with Sudama? Sudama was so poor, so thin, he barely had anything to eat. And all he brought was a bag of chipped rice, not even whole rice, chipped rice. And he was embarrassed of that. His wife told him to take it, but he didn't want to. He just wanted to see his old friend Krishna because he had so much love and affection for him. And Krishna was like, I have not seen you in such a long time. You must have something for me. You must have brought something. What did you bring? And he was hiding it. They said he was hiding it within the cave here, in his armpit here, because he didn't want Krishna to see it. He was feeling shy. Krishna had 16,108 palaces in Dwarka. What is he going to give him? Because he didn't feel like he could give him anything. And Krishna was searching, you must have brought something. And then he found that, you brought this. And he took one of those particles of chipped rice and put it in his mouth, and immediately Krishna felt, I am satisfied. I am so happy. That offering of love and affection. And what did he do? Immediately at that moment, he gave Sudama equal opulence to what he had. And then Krishna went for another one, and Rukmini stopped him. Please, no. Why? Because if Krishna would have taken the next, then also she felt that myself and all of your queens will also be bereft of your service, that you will also give them all of us as his servants. So she stopped Krishna. One is enough. But Sudama, when he went back to his home, he couldn't recognize it. He didn't even recognize his wife. Before, she was all thin and she had like maybe one piece of cloth. Very, very simple. This time there were palaces and so many beautiful gardens and fountains and gorgeously decorated people, and everyone. Sudama was like, where is this? What is this? And then his wife came out, and he barely recognized her because suddenly she was dressed in the most luxurious silks with the most valuable ornaments, and she wasn't skinny anymore. And she looked all young and fresh and beautiful. And Sudama was... And I remember hearing the Krishna Stories tapes. Within their hearts, they embraced one another. Within their hearts. Because traditionally you didn't do that publicly. So, I'm telling this because Srila Gurudeva Maharaj, he completely surrendered to Krishna. He accepted this ashram, and Krishna took care of everything. All of his previous obligations completely, much better than he ever did himself. He didn't have anything to worry about. And so with conviction, he was saying, nothing to do, Baba, nothing to do. He didn't have to worry about anything. As Raghava Prabhu already said, 3 times. 3 times clapping. So we see how Srila Gurudeva Maharaj himself followed all of the processes of bhakti and then showed by example how he associated with Srila Prabhupada, not only physically, in complete surrender, and also with so many pure Vaishnavas, including his Shiksha Guru. What is his name? Is it Radha Charan Das Babaji Maharaj, disciple of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada? When I hear from the devotees how he was, how he is, they said he wasn't even speaking, but he would just embrace the devotees and they would begin weeping and crying. And Srila Gurudeva Maharaj accepted him as his Shiksha Guru. So maintaining that kind of association with advanced Vaishnavas. Also he had association apparently with Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj and others. Some would say, no, this and that. But we know that he did. And if it wasn't externally, it was internally, because Vaishnavas always like to associate with Vaishnavas. So how could he preach that if he himself was not doing that? Associating with those whom he felt superior to himself. He would feel that. Not Yes, like our Gurudev and Srila Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj. Our Gurudev accepted him as his Shiksha Guru, always associating with him. Srila Bhaktivedanta Trivikram Maharaj. So many other Vaishnavas would associate with them. They would discuss together. So how he also associated internally with his Gurudev. Like our Srila Prabhupada, he said, I never see that there's any separation between me and my Gurudev. He's always with me. Because he was carrying his moods. He was carrying Bhakti Siddhanta and sharing Bhakti Siddhanta with the world. This is what Srila Prabhupada was carrying. And Srila Govinda Maharaj was carrying his Gurudev fully within his heart, always associating with him internally. So he embodied this mood of sadhu sangha. What he was preaching about. He said, unless we hear the kirtan of the pure devotee, ashray guru, unless we hear that kirtan, then how will we receive Krishna's mercy? That's why I asked Srila Gurudev that question. In this Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Eva Kevalam, he says there's no other way to attain perfection other than Hare Nam. And so I asked my Gurudev, who's Hare Nam? My chanting of Hare Nam or the chanting of the pure devotee? Because mine is full of all kinds of other desires. What is it? Abhiniveshita, Anya Abhilash. Any other desire. Any other desire. So what is the result of Namaparad? Kanaka Kamani Pratishta. So how can it be that my chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra will bring me perfection? Is it my chanting or the chanting of the pure devotee? So Srila Govinda Maharaj had established already in my heart that it is the chanting of the pure devotee. So when I asked my Gurudev this question for reconciliation, he said both. First, Shravanam, hearing the chanting, the kirtan of Ashray Tattva Shri Guru, of the pure devotee. Then Kirtanam. What we hear from Gurudev, then we do this. And that also makes sense. It is flowing. We must also do it, but we must also hear that Harikatha, hear the glories of Krishna's names, forms, qualities, and pastimes. Srila Govinda Maharaj was so refining, so clarifying, so cutting, so clearing. He didn't leave room for wiggling when it came to Tattva Siddhanta. He was so clear on all of it. It was like hermetically sealed. You could not find any hole in there. There was so much conviction, nishta, absolute conviction. He also showed how to do kirtan. He was talking about that a real devotee, a pure devotee, they're only always thinking of Krishna, only speaking about Krishna and topics relating to Krishna. They don't have any concern for mundane material things. It means that they're not absorbing their mind in any of the nonsense of this world. And if anything comes to them, they just dovetail it to Krishna. And he showed that practically in his life, every moment. There were devotees who were there constantly, who were watching, who were with him, who would see him, how he would be up all night, either reading, studying, translating, writing, chanting. All of his practices were fully in line with the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Rupa Goswami and Srila Prabhupada, his Guru Varga, completely in line. His Sadhu Sangha, Nam Kirtan, Bhagavat Shravan. I always felt that he was the embodiment of Srimad Bhagavatam. From that very first time I met him and saw him and heard him, I was like, my God, this person is amazing. How he was so full of conviction and faith in Bhagavatam. And it was coming from here. It wasn't coming from here or even coming from reading. He was that. And now that I'm saying it, I'm getting a little glimpse of an understanding into this. Two kinds of Bhagavats. The book Bhagavat and the person Bhagavat. So this is what is meant by Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, to eternally serve the Bhagavat. That means Srimad Bhagavatam. How? As it is coming through the person Bhagavat, that person Bhagavat, also serving them. Then we can understand Srimad Bhagavatam. Otherwise, not. Because it is Guru who makes Krishna appear in the heart. And Srila Govinda Maharaj would use the term also Sadhu Guru. Sadhu Guru means any pure Vaishnava who is also helping us to progress on the path of bhakti. They are known as Sadhu Guru or Shiksha Guru. So there's Diksha Guru, Shiksha Guru. And your Diksha Guru may be your Shiksha Guru. So Srila Govinda Maharaj, he established Guru Tattva as a foundation. And I remember reading from him. He said, don't give up hope. Even if you've accepted 3, 4, and 5 gurus who have fallen down, that doesn't mean that the real Guru does not exist. It means that maybe there was some lacking of sincerity on your part, and instead of attracting the real Guru, the teacher, you attracted a cheater. And so as a result, you had to taste some result of attracting a cheater because you wanted to cheat. But don't give up hope. The process is eternal and it is real. Guru Tattva is real and eternal. He said, so don't give up hope. If that has been your situation, if that has been your experience, still it does not mean that real Guru is not available. You must cry deeply from the core of your heart and pray. And Sri Guru will manifest if you are sincere. Sansara davana lalidhaloka tranaya karunya ghanaganatvam praptasya kalyan gunarnavasya vande guru shri charanarvindam. This is eternal, transcendental reality. In this material world, all jivas are bound, not all, most. There are some who are coming to the point of liberation, but most are bound by so many layers, and we are experiencing samsara, means repetition of birth, disease, old age, and death in so many different bodies. And in that samsara, we're experiencing so much suffering. Adhyatmik, adhibautik, adhidaivic, different kinds of miseries. When one begins to cry out to the Lord for help, for the remedy for this suffering that I'm burning in this blazing forest fire of material existence, please help me. Send me your own man, as Srila Govinda Maharaj would say. If one is really sincerely crying out from the core of their heart, that is our responsibility, our sincerity and our tears. And he said the rest is Krishna's responsibility. We cannot demand or control anything. That's up to Krishna. What is our side is our tears and our sincerity. And the rest is up to Krishna. We can pray to him, please send me your own man. I'm done with this. Please help me. And he said, Krishna, he can make the impossible possible or the possible impossible. There is nothing that he cannot do. If you are sincere, he can manifest that personality in front of you. In fact, it's he himself who manifests in the form of Sri Guru, right? Chaitya Guru manifests externally to the senses of the conditioned soul in the form of Diksha and Shiksha Gurus, because Jive Shakshat Nihitate Guru Chaitya Rupe. We cannot directly see the Guru in the heart, so he manifests externally to our senses so that we can recognize him or her. So Srila Govinda Maharaj put so much emphasis on this. Don't be hopeless. He can manifest in front of you spontaneously and miraculously. And the proof will be that your heart naturally, completely falls at their feet. You cannot help yourself. You cannot check yourself. You will recognize that my heart is standing in front of me. Spontaneously and miraculously, he used these words. Let me just see if anyone added anything here. Okay. So Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj, through his whole life, even as he was preaching, as he was traveling, enduring so many difficulties, because he ordered, it was so difficult for him in so many ways. But still he tolerated, until it was almost unbearable. But for a greater good, he tolerated. One thing that Sudevi read me today was quite interesting. Devotees wanted to chant his pranam mantra in the temple. And Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj said, absolutely not. He forbade it. And there was a reason behind it. He said, this is Srila Prabhupada's temple. There are so many different persons who are initiating. And if you chant my pranam mantra, and then you can't chant, others will want to chant their guru's pranam mantra, and then all of their gurus will be given prominence, and then among the disciples there will be so much conflict. He said, so we should keep Srila Prabhupada the center in Srila Prabhupada's temples. And this instruction also was given by Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj to the GBC who went to him right after Prabhupada's departure. They were asking, quote unquote, now that we are acharyas, what should we do? And he began to laugh. He said, it's a funny question if you think about it. He said, you're all first level students, but anyhow. So he instructed, don't accept worship of yourself in the temple of your Gurudev. In the homes of your disciples or in your own temple, that's one thing. But don't take worship of yourself in the temple of your Gurudev. It will create problems and conflict. And we saw that it did happen like that. It did happen like that. When many acharyas or many persons who take the role of guru after their spiritual master departs from this world, start to assert their position within the society, then there can be easily create a conflict of interest, and then it creates divisiveness. So Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj instructed, don't chant my pranam mantra in Srila Prabhupada's temple. What?
In your own home you can.
In your own home you can do this, and of course in your heart, but so it doesn't create conflict or controversy. He wanted what Srila Prabhupada wanted, that everyone would work together harmoniously. And interestingly enough, he was one of the most catalytic. He was a catalyst for so much what appeared to be disharmony. So what is the meaning of harmony? It's not that everyone should compromise to the maximum so that finally everyone agrees, that we all settle on the lowest common denominator. Harmony means to harmonize in Guru, to harmonize in Gauranga, to harmonize in Radha Krishna. It doesn't mean to harmonize to the lowest common denominator. Then it just ends up being a mundane democracy. And then what do you have? Srila Prabhupada called it demon crazy. That a bunch of persons who are full of material desires are voting other persons into position who will support and nourish their material desires. That's the lowest common denominator. But that is not Vaisnava Dharma. What is Vaishnava Dharma? Krishna in the center, Sri Guru in the center, because actually there's no difference, right? Sakshat Haritvena Samashta Shastra, two halves of the same whole. One is Ashray Bhagavan, the other is Vishay Bhagavan. One is the enjoyer and one is supplying that enjoyment. Krishna is the enjoyer. Sri Guru, the pure devotee, is supplying that enjoyment, serving Krishna. So it's really two halves of the same whole. Sakshat Haritvena Samashta Shastra. All Shastras are declaring this point. So, Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj, he embodied this mood, complete service to his Gurudev, even to the point of apparently creating a disharmonious situation because he would not budge on the tattva and siddhanta of his Gurudev. He would not compromise on that. He even said, they're wrong on Guru Tattva, they're wrong on Krishna Tattva, they're wrong on Jeev Tattva, they're wrong on Maya Tattva, they're wrong on all of the Tattvas. What can I do? But he would not change the Tattva. He said if that changes, everything is finished. So he had to always fight to preach the truth. And because of that, he endured so much difficulty. I've heard this from my Gurudev and from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. We have read it, but I know that Srila Govinda Maharaj also embodied this, as did our Srila Prabhupada and all of our acharyas, really. Never mind, the entire world is against me. As long as I'm holding on to the lotus feet of my Gurudev, the whole world can be against me. Srila Govinda Maharaj had this conviction. And more. What did Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada say? He said, if all of the conditioned souls, if all of the jivas and all of the countless universes in one voice loudly shouted at me the untruth, I alone would stand in the face of all of them and loudly proclaim the truth. Boldly proclaim the truth. If all of the countless jivas and all of the countless universes in one voice, that is nishtha. We see how Srila Govinda Maharaj also had that conviction, always preaching the truth and not moving one micron from that truth. This is exemplary. And we see, because of that conviction and that nishtha, what kind of madness, and I'm using this word madness, he inspired in his own disciples. There's nothing more powerful or more attractive than someone who has the most complete conviction in something. They can move worlds. They can change everything by their conviction. Someone who's weak, who moves this way and that way, they don't have any standing. But someone who has strong standing, the entire world will see, wow, that's amazing. That is strength. That is real strength. And this is a quality that everyone is attracted to, right? Aishvaryasya, samagrasya, viryasya. This is strength. One can show physical strength, but that strength, that even if the entire world is against me, I will stand strong, that is powerful, that is beautiful, and that is admirable. And even in the material world, if someone has that kind of conviction, it is impressive. Or to speak of someone is of that kind of conviction toward the eternal reality, transcendental, eternal reality, as Srila Govinda Maharaj so beautifully embodied in his words and in his actions. Vaishnavata e saralata. Saralata e Vaishnavata. Simplicity is Vaishnavism. The Vaishnavas should be one with their words and their heart. Huh?
Krishna is Patita Pava, not Kapata Pava. He used to say that so much.
Mahaprabhu, he said. Srila Govinda Maharaj would say that about Mahaprabhu. He is a savior of the fallen, not Kapata Pavan. Those who are duplicitous, those who are lying and cheating and like that, they don't want the mercy, so they are blocking themselves from that mercy. Right? Abadha Kurana Sindhu Katiya Mohan Ghare Ghare Bule Prema Amiyarvan. Nityananda Prabhu broke open that dam, and the flood of mercy came and drowned everyone in that. Only those who were duplicitous, who were cheaters, they were floating on top and they weren't saturated. It means they made a boat for themselves. They weren't able to drown in that ocean of prema. Srila Govinda Maharaj, we have heard and seen how he was drowning constantly in that ocean of prema. How he was completely maddened with ecstasy as he would do kirtan. So if you see Guruvashtakam, there Sangsara Davana Lalidhaloka. He embodies that kind of guru who is coming to rescue. He said that guru is like mercy ropes of Krishna coming in this world. That those ropes are coming from Krishna. And if you hold on, then you can be rescued. So he was one of those amazing mercy ropes descending from Krishna with complete conviction, complete dedication. Sangsara Davana Lalithaloka. Then Mahaprabhu Kirtana Nritya Gita. How was his mood in Kirtan? Completely diving deep. It's funny, yesterday I turned on one video of Srila Gurudev Maharaj on YouTube. It was so beautiful. How he was talking and how he was giving these loving glances. And I was remembering what he had said about the glance of Gurudev, the glance of Sri Guru. By that glance, everything comes. By that beautiful glance. But in there he was saying, oh, we shouldn't be on the surface of the ocean. He said, on the surface, what will you catch? Very easily you'll catch so many fish. But if you go deep, if you dive deep, what will you get? Oh, the gems, the treasures of the ocean are down deep. If you dive deep, then you will get these treasures. So he was saying one should dive deep. I remember once there was a devotee who told us that he had been going from one sadhu to the next, and listening a little bit here and there. And Srila Gurudev Maharaj was saying, oh, what are you going to get? Trying to dig so many wells, but only digging 1 inch or 2 inches or 1 foot here and there. Little bits. You will never reach water. You will never reach water. And then he started saying, the Ganga is here! The Ganga is here! He was able to give that nectar. The Ganga is there. Why are you trying to dig a little here and there? You will never hit water. We're after that nectar. O sons of nectar, you are born from nectar. You are made of nectar, and you are made to taste nothing but nectar. So don't be satisfied by anything but nectar. This is a verse from the Vedas. Beautiful verse. Srila Bhakti Rakshak Srila Maharaj would quote that one quite often. One thing I read yesterday which I never heard before. When Srila Gurudev Maharaj went into that state of bhav in that kirtan on the disappearance festival of Srila Bhakti Madhav Goswami Maharaj, that is the Gurudeva of Bhakti Vallabh Tirtha Maharaj, Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Maharaj, so many. When Srila Gurudev Maharaj went into that state, many people were very concerned and confused. And Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj said at that time, he is okay, he's okay. He's experiencing a very elevated state of bhav, of bhakti. And Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj also gave his statement. It wasn't only Bhakti, Akinchit Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj. It wasn't only him. Many had given their statements, but one of those personalities was Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj. He gave that statement about this condition of Srila Gurudev Maharaj. Perhaps you can confirm that, Prabhu, if you're still there. I just read it yesterday. It was one of the 108 bullet points of the glories of Srila Gurudev Maharaj that were presented. So, Srila Gurudev Maharaj was no ordinary personality. You could see it in his activities from the beginning of his life, through his life, up until the point he met his Gurudev. Once he met his Gurudev, from the very beginning, from the very first moment, engaged in responsible seva. And very soon afterward, given sannyas, requested to travel and preach around the world, and also instructed that he will have to make his own disciples. We don't hear that. But we know that Srila Prabhupada requested and told him that he should do it. And also one other I know for sure. Is it Radha Govinda Maharaj? I've heard. So Srila Gurudev Maharaj was no ordinary person. When I heard that he had 16 or 17 days, just him and Srila Prabhupada, how they were discussing so many deep subject matters on the path of bhakti. And so deep also, Srila Govinda Maharaj said that Prabhupada revealed his Nitya Swarup to him. That is no ordinary connection. This is the stuff that is made, which is spoken about in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita and Jaiva Dharma. It's not ordinary. It is very, very deep. This connection, Janme, Janme, Prabhu say, birth after birth, you are my spiritual master. We hear about how Mahaprabhu and Rupa Goswami had their time together. I think it was also something like that, 15, 16 days. And how Mahaprabhu gave him everything in that time. With Sanatan Goswami, with Rai Ramananda, with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, so many different shikshas of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Govinda Maharaj was no ordinary personality. Interestingly, also, he established in his temple Srila Prabhupada, Gaura-Nitai, Krishna Balaram, Jagannath Subhadra Balaram. And he actually mentioned something interesting about this. Oh, these Gaura-Nitai, by the way, they were not any ordinary Gaura-Nitai. They were the Gaura-Nitai of the Padayatra. And the Padayatra had to halt for some time and stayed there in Bhubaneswar with Srila Govinda Maharaj. After some time, they came and asked for the Gaura-Nitai back. And he said, let me ask them. Now, we've heard this also something with, is it Gauridas Pandit?
Yeah.
Let me ask them. And he came, nope, they don't want to go. They want to stay. And they're like, come on, Maharaj, give us they're our deities, they're from Padayatra. He said, they don't want to go. So then they came again later. Can you give us our deities? And he said, let me ask. He went and asked, and he came back. They don't want to leave. Who was able to speak with Thakurji, with Gaur and Nitai, like that? Not any ordinary person. Someone who has direct relationship with them, who is Tattva Darshi. Oh, this is something I wanted to share, and I have no more time. So Srila Govinda Maharaj established these three. Prabhupada, Gaura-Nitai, Krishna Balaram, and Jagannath Subhadra Balaram. And he mentions something very particular about this. That there is Guru Tattva, Guru Tattva, Guru Tattva, Guru Tattva. In Prabhupada there is Guru Tattva. In Gaura-Nitai, Nityananda Prabhu, he is Akhanda Guru Tattva, the unbroken original form of Guru. Krishna Balaram. Balaram is not different from Nityananda Prabhu. Balarama Hoilo Nitai. Balaram himself has manifested as Nityananda Prabhu. Guru Tattva, the unbroken original Guru. And Jagannath Subhadra, Baladev Prabhu. Again, Baladev Prabhu. Guru, 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 Guru. Why is it so important and essential? Guru Kripa Vina Nahi Koi Sadhana Bal. Without the mercy of Guru, you cannot take one step on the path of sadhana. There's no meaning to sadhana without Guru, because you have no idea of what your true goal is without Guru. So he was saying how essential it is. And then Krishna himself is saying, Pratamam tu Gurum Pujam. Without first worshipping Guru, serving Guru, pleasing Gurudev, then Anyata Nishpalabham, everything else that you do will be fruitless. So it is necessary to first go to Guru. Before we offer to Radha Krishna Mahaprabhu, we first come to Gurudev. Oh Gurudev, please come. Give Achman to Gurudev. Please be here. Please serve this to your Thakurji. So we first call Gurudev, we serve Guru, we ask Guru, now you please serve and I will assist you. This is our process. Not going over our Guru. Everything under the guidance of Guru. As Sudevi read the other day. I think she read it on Janmashtami, was it? Prabhupada's day, Nandotsav. She read from Srila Govinda Maharaj, how he was begging to just be like a particle of dust on the lotus feet of his Gurudev. So one thing Srila Govinda Maharaj said, actually, he's given so much, I didn't realize how much he has saturated us with the conceptions manifesting from his heart by the mercy of his Gurudev and Guru Varga. Srila Govinda Maharaj was speaking about what is Tattva Darshi. This Tadvidhi Pranipatena Pariprashnena Sevaya Upadeksyanti Te Jnanam Jnaninas Tattva Darshinaha. Now, the general translation says, just try to learn the truth by approaching a bona fide spiritual master. You should surrender to him, inquire submissively, and render service unto him. Such a spiritual master can impart transcendental or divine knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. So, seen the truth. This is the English translation of the word tattvadarshi. Srila Gurudeva Maharaj explained it more deeply. What is tattva? Truth. As Mahaprabhu told Sanatan Goswami, Advai Gyan Tattva Braje Brajendranandan. Tattva means Krishna in Vrindavan. And then Srila Gurudeva Maharaj established that one who has seen the truth doesn't just mean seeing with their eyes. It means practically experiencing their relationship with Krishna in Vrindavan. That is Tattva Darshi. One who is endowed with Shri, means the mercy, the blessings of Srimati Radhika, who is carrying that in this world because they know Krishna. They have their relationship with Krishna is already in full swing. Means they already know that. It's practically experienced. And they are always seeing with their eyes of love and affection the divine form of Shyama Sundar, Yang Shyama Sundaram Achintya Gunasvarupam. Because of that, that person is a Tattvadarshi. They can reveal Krishna. They can give you Krishna because they are already engaged in their relationship with Krishna.
Prabhu is driving at the moment,
okay.
So he's listening, but...
So now it's late again. So we will continue going beyond Vaikuntha tomorrow. I just wanted to share a little bit more from and about Srila Gurudeva Maharaj because actually I don't feel that he's given enough glory and enough credit, enough prominence. His glories, his nature, his activities, his conviction, his nishta, his practice, his everything is so exemplary. It is extremely rare to meet with, to find, to hear from, to be instructed by, to touch the feet of, or to receive anything from such a kind of person in this world.
In any world.
In any world. And Srila Gurudeva Maharaj has established, based on Shastra Chakshushaha, that really, especially in this line, Nikunja Yuno Ratikeli Siddhyai, that who is Gurudev? That person who is actually serving Radha and Krishna, assisting the gopis to serve them in the Nikunjas of Vrindavan. Radha, Priya, Sakhi, who's very near and dear maidservant of Srimati Radhika. So that kind of person is not so easy to find, very rare in this world. How would he accept the role of Guru and preach the way he did without being that, without realizing that? That would make him a cheater, and he would never do that. He was completely clear, honest, and showing this apparent truth, not apparent truth, absolute truth, tattva vishar, that Radhika Dasira Krishna Sarva Vede Bole, that even Krishna himself becomes the property of the maidservants of Srimati Radhika. That is why they can give him, because he is their property. So they can give him, they have that power. So Srila Gurudeva Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupal Guru Varga ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Gaur. Hare Shritai Gaur Premanande
Hari Hari Bol.
Shri Gurudev ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Shri Gaur Hari ki jai, Radha Vinod Hari ki jai, Brihad Maharaja ki jai, Hari Nam Sankirtan ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Govinda Narayan Govinda Radhe 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 Jai 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 Shri Radhe 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 Jai 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 Shri Radhe 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 Jai 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 Shri Radhe Shri Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki Jai 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 Shri Radhe Jai Jai Shri Radhe Jai Jai Shri Radhe Shyam Gaura Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol.
So thank you all very much for being with us today and giving us the opportunity to remember the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev and our Guru Varga, especially of Srila Guru Govinda Maharaj, to remember his glories, his pastimes, and his teachings, and also for giving us the opportunity to follow the order of our Gurudev by engaging us in our Guru Seva. So we look forward to being with all of you tomorrow and continuing to go beyond Vaikuntha together. Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna, Radhe Radhe,
Radhe
Radha
Radhe.
Vinod Hari Ju ki
Jai.
Shachinandana Gaura Hari
Ki Jai.
Jai.